Welcome to Belmont Banter, the official podcast of Whitstable Town FC. Every week we chat to ex-players, supporters and invited guests here on Belmont Banter.
Welcome to the official podcast of Whitstable Town FC.
Whitstable Town Football Club's main sponsor is Fibertech UK Limited.
Hello again everyone and welcome to Belmont Banter, and today I've got on the end of the phone it's not Lee Bosson, but it's Mr. Bosson Senior. It's Dougie Bosson. How you doing, Dougie?
I'm great, Tony, thank you.
Good. It's lovely to talk to you. Now, you know how this works because we put your son through the mill on this, and he came out with a few little gems, one of which was that he was always falling out with you, even when he was your man, you were his manager.
Untrue, I'm the gaffer in this house.
Love it. All right, okay. So let's start with your football career. Earliest memories. When did you first get involved playing football?
When I was at school and playing for the youth club, and until about when I was about 15. Like I say, I joined Snowdown reserves then when I was 15. I just started work at the Snowdown colliery. I became a minor when I was 15, and Snowdown then was the club to go and play for. They were one of the biggest in the Kent League, the old Kent League, and it was a privilege to go and train there and play there.
Yeah, it's quite remarkable the way that people talk about it with such affection. I mean, I've got an association myself with the club and also with the mining through my uncle Jack Lockerbie. Yeah, Jack Lockerbie. So,
he was our overman, Jack Lockerbie.
Yeah, good lad. Yeah. And I know the club. I mean, I know Alyesham Club because as a family we used to come over to Alyesham, and my two brothers and I, we used to spend a good few weeks with Uncle Jack, and really good. Yeah, so all the girls and.
He wasn't the most talkative person, but he held everyone in esteem. You worked hard and you got paid for it.
That's good. All right. Well, we've reminisced a little bit, but we're chatting about football. But this is a strange thing about you lads, you and your son. This Snowdown just keeps coming back all the time, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's an old club, like I say, and it goes back many years. It's the only club, I believe, that had 11 internationals just during the war and just after the war that all played for Snowdown.
My goodness me.
So, they were a top club. They had very good following. You're talking about 2,000-3,000 people. There was 10,000 cup final at Shilling. And that must have been in about 1950 odd somewhere.
Goodness me. Now my earliest...
Then, like I say, then it was a pleasure, to go to Snowdown or be asked to come up training and go into and follow that footsteps.
Oh, it's fantastic. Now, when I used to go over there, we used to go to the Welfare Club. Is that where the actual ground was?
Yeah, that's just further up from that, yeah.
Oh, right, I know, yeah.
In Spinney Lane, what they call Spinney Lane.
So not far from the fire station then?
Just at the back of it. It was like it joined on the back of it.
Yeah, great. Okay, well, I've got a picture of where it is, and we painted a bit of a picture for everyone else. Now, I can't believe. Well, you're the historian as far as Snowdown's concerned. I can't believe that such a great club now has. Well, I wouldn't say falling into disrepair. That'd be totally unfair, and that's not the case. But where they got off to such a flying start, why didn't they then progress a bit further?
It was all to do with the colliery. The colliery subsided the actual playing of football at Snowdown Colliery.
Oh, right.
And, when the pick started to dwindle, then, the spectators started to dwindle, the players went away, and they couldn't afford the big top wages. You know what I mean? You had big people who used to come and play at Snowdown, and eventually, it just dropped away. And, like I say, there was no support from the colliery because it was shutting, and it shut in 86, and there was no money being made.
I presume, and this is only an assumption on my part, that there must be a very strong Welsh connection because of all the mining.
There was miners come from Scotland, up from the north, not Doncaster, you name it, Sunderland, Wales, they were all here. There was the biggest one was Newcastle, you know what I mean? The person who I can remember, Jimmy Bly, he was the Newcastle supporter, and he became one of the top people in the Snowdown committee.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So we had a big following, a very big following of, from the miners themselves. Like I say, they came here to work.
Your playing career, you started at Snowdown at, say, what did you say, 15?
About 15.
And how long did you stay? Well, how long did it take you to get into the first team?
Oh, about 3 years, maybe 4 years, because you had to go through the reserves. And, if you weren't happy in the reserve, you had to go and play local football and then get back. But you had to train twice a week there. And it was really hard because they were really good players. You know what I mean? The man that I first went there as a manager was Les Martin and Bruce Bryson. Yeah. Bruce Bryson was a Scottish international, I believe. You know what I mean? And Les Martin was a professional player. And they were managers there and players. And it was very difficult to get into the actual side. You had to work very hard. You know what I mean? Like I say, it took me 2 or 3 years. I left and I went and played rugby because I wasn't getting what I thought I should be playing in the first team. So you either went away or you had to work hard to get there. And like I say, I played rugby, I did everything. And then I eventually got in the first team. And, it went from there.
You would have been then in the old Kent, what was the old Kent League? That was quite a decent league, though.
Yeah.
That was quite a decent league, wasn't it?
It was a very good league. You had very good players in there. And there was abundance of players. It was, they came from all over, to want to play in the Kent League. And like Snowdown, Whitstable, Margate, Ramsgate. These were cup games every day, you know what I mean? Because you knew them players. And there was a rivalry there, you had to fight to get in the place to play that game.
Yeah, definitely. And then you got the likes of, you mentioned Margate quite rightly, but then you had Dover as well in there.
Dover,
yeah.
Deal.
Yeah. Oh, Deal's always been a powerhouse as well. Oh,
yeah, Folkestone, I can remember going to watch Folkestone and Snowdown when I was a kid. And there must have been, 3,000 people there at the game.
Incredible.
And that's what it was like, you know what I mean? But as the years goes on, the spectators stopped coming.
Yeah.
And it was really hard to, to generate people to come and watch.
Yeah, definitely. Very difficult. Who was the manager while you were there? Was it the same Scottish, the other guy you just mentioned just now?
Martin and Bruce Bryson.
Was he a hard taskmaster?
Very much so, Bruce was a little Scotchman. He stood about 5'4", and he packed a punch of a heavyweight. You know what I mean? So he didn't lack any hustling with him. You know what I mean? You get on and do what you was told, and it was good though. It was hard. You got brought up that way. You know what I mean? It was, take the kicks. And in them days, I'm talking about kicking. You know what I mean? People used to put you in the stand. They didn't threaten to put you in. They did put you in the stand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was one of them that it made me the person I was anyway when I played.
So how long did you actually stay at Snowdown as a player then?
I stayed there until I was about until 68. So it must have been about 6 years. I'm told. And then I signed for Brett Sports in 68, 69. I think it was the manager was Peter Valentine, I think his name was. He was a school teacher. And I was playing at Snowdown and, it was like knocked on the door. Would I like to sign for Brett's? Well, yeah, why not? It's a step up, I believe. They'd only just started off. They'd been going about a couple of years. And there was good players there. You're talking about Bobby Pearce, Trevor Pearce, Colin Tomlin. Do you remember Colin Tomlin?
Yes. All these names are coming back to me. You just mentioned Brett Sporks. I haven't heard that name mentioned for years.
Yeah, no, it went. It lasted, I think, about 3 or 4 years, and then it just kind of dropped away. The old man Brett, he was a great bloke. You know what I mean? He used to turn up on a Saturday. There was a coach ready for you. You used to get your little brown envelope, and he used to shake your hand, and you used to get on the bus and go. He was a great bloke, he was. Players there, very good players.
Old school, yeah, no, it's good, it's good. How long did you stay at Brett Sports for then?
I only stayed there a season, and because how can you say, I was working at the colliery, and it was very difficult that you had to train twice a week, play on a Saturday. I was like on day shift, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, you know what I mean? And so it got that way that I was always struggling on a training night, so eventually I returned to Snowdown under Keith Owen. Keith Owen was manager then at Snowdown, and I returned to Snowden.
You're a bit like Lee. Well, Lee was flitting between Snowden and Whitstable. You did your Brett Sports and then back to Snowden. How long did you stay the second time then?
How long was I there for? Going back, return, I think it was about 3 years, something like that. And then Whitstable Town came in for me, Bill Craig.
Great guy.
That was the late 70s, 72. I played for Bill. He knocked on my door, walked in the house, and said, "Doug, I want to sign you." And I went, "No problem at all, Mr. Craig." And he said, "There's 7 or 8 other Alyesham lads I've got playing for me. Come and join us," and which I did. And I never looked back. He was a manager that you believed everything he said and did. You know what I mean? Because he'd done it, and he just give you the free rein play. He didn't, you know, it was no tactics with Bill. Go out and play. You know, I know what you've got. We know what we're doing. Just go out and play. And that was Bill. He was a great manager for me.
Yeah.
And a great friend as well.
What position did you play?
I played up front. I was centre forward then. I scored goals. That was what I was there for, and I scored goals regular on every game. I was somewhere around there. But I had players around me, the likes of Cyril Simpson. He's signed from Gillingham. What a player, Cyril Simpson. He was a player that he read the game before the ball, he even received the ball. You know what I mean? He was so talented. He was one of them that, you know, if you didn't learn off him, then it wasn't worth learning. But there was good times. Big Barry Robson stood 6'4". He used to kick you before you got out onto the pitch, you know, just to warn you that's what's going to happen. But Barry was Barry, you know what I mean? There was a lot of good lads then when I signed there.
Yeah, lovely.
You know, I mean, they're still around. Big John Newman. I don't hear of John anymore. You know, what I mean, I don't know if what he's doing or anything. But he was a Whitstable lad through and through. Alan Shilling. You know, Shilling. He was what a player Alan was.
Yeah, I know he was. Yeah, Alan could have gone a long way, couldn't he?
Very, very. Yeah, he should have gone a long way.
Yeah, I agree with you.
A little bit of guidance. And he'd have made it. He was a good player.
Yeah, he was a good player. You've just mentioned two lads that I know well, John and Alan. I know both of them very well. You're quite right. I haven't seen John Newman for years. I'll have to find out where he is. Yeah, he'd have some stories to tell.
Oh yeah. He was a good lad, John was. Like I say, you know, I mean, Whitstable Town to me is like my second home. I visit it now. I love walking down the high street, and I still see people that years ago. You know, I know Bruce is gone. Old George Gifford. I don't know if he's still alive.
I'm a little bit unsure about George. I think he might still be. I think he's in a home.
I think he must be 100 if he's a day. You know what I mean? Yeah. What a man he was.
What a man.
He built Whitstable on his own, I think. You know what I mean? He was a great bloke, George, and his wife. You just get a cup of tea, you walk to the gates, you say, "Dougie, tea?" Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I know.
She was good. Yeah, there was good times there at Whitstable with them.
Was good times. Yeah. And we had a very good side. And do you know the frustrating thing about it? When you look back through the history, you wonder. I know that promotion wasn't the same as it is now. The league, the pyramids was all different. But it always amazes me with the quality sides that we had there, that A, that we never won more cups, and B, that we never got promoted.
Whitstable Town Football Club's main sponsor is Fibertech UK Limited.
And do you know the reason? This is my personal reason. I think money came into it. When I played for Craigie back in 72, 73, there was no money as such. You got expenses for running a car. I used to bring my car, and I got about £3, I think.
Yeah.
And it was a privilege to play at Whitstable. And when the money started coming in, and the Hernbays and the Favershams and all this chucking money around, it killed the local football, and it didn't give them people a chance. Where Whitstable, all right, if Whitstable had had a millionaire in them days, maybe, they'd have gone further.
Yeah.
But it just killed football. I believe that, players went there just for the money in the end. The local football, I don't think it's worth it. I really don't.
No. You'd have caught hold. Joe was a chairman at the time you were there, wasn't he?
No, cool. That was before Joe got there.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think who was, I can't remember who was chairman then, I'll be honest with you. Oh, Charlie Ridge. Oh, Charlie.
Oh, right, okay, Charlie Ridge, yeah. Pictures up in the clubhouse still.
Yeah, old Charlie, I can remember the first time I met him. He was a physio, and he became chairman, and I broke my nose. Well, this bloke hit me I broke my nose. And at half time I come home and it was still pumping with blood. Charlie came in, he said, "Doug, let me look at it." And as he looked at it, he got my nose and he went, "Push," and he straightened my nose like that. And I went out and I played in the second half, no problem at all. And then about 6 weeks later, I had to go into hospital and get my nose done properly, you know what I mean? Because it was bent a little bit on the end. But Charlie did that. I always remember that.
What a man. When did your sort of playing career finish? Did you finish at Whitstable or you go back to Snowdown?
I went 73, signed for Canterbury City after I left Whitstable. Back in, in the 73, I signed for Canterbury City in the Southern League, Division 1 in the Kent Floodlit League.
Yeah, they were flying as well, weren't they?
That was a good side. You had the likes of, Ian Finch, Terry Norton, Pete Pryor, Dave Wilshire, Bob Harrop, Alan Jones, Mickey Wilson, Roger Wedge, the Wickinson brothers, Johnny and Bob. They were players at Canterbury, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what a star Bob Harrop. I love the bloke. He was so honest and so truthful, you know what I mean, as a player. He was a great bloke, Bob. Poor old Bob, he's gone now, I know, but he was a good bloke.
Yeah, good bloke.
I also remember the first time I met him, it was a training night. We'd had a little kick about and whatever, and then we went into a five-a-side. And I kicked Bob, and I didn't realise, I just kicked him, and he stopped the game, like Bob, and he said, "Doug," he said, "where are you from?" I said, "Well, Alyesham." He said, "I knew that. When you kicked me," he said, "I knew you were from Alyesham." And me and Bob got on after that, brilliant.
Lovely.
Good bloke.
Lovely.
Really good, nice bloke, Bob was, yeah.
So,
and then I finished at Canterbury because the travelling, you know what I mean? You used to go to the places like, I don't know, Dorchester, the Andover.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? I just got married then and had got one on, I think there was one, maybe two on the way then, I can remember. And I came home one morning, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. We'd been to Andover. And I walked in the house and the wife was sitting there and she said, "Football or me?" 3 weeks later, I finished at Canterbury and I went back to Snowdown.
Well,
and just played local football.
Sensible man.
That was the end of it.
That was the end of it. But it wasn't the end of you with football because you then went into management. How did that happen?
I was just in about 74, 80. I was just doing, a little bit of football here at Snowdown. And then I started playing in the Sunday league, which you do. And I did a bit of coaching. And I was doing the kids, you didn't have to have a badge them days,
no,
you know
that's
what I mean?
true. Yeah.
And my wife was secretary of the local school. And she said, "Oh, would you come down and help the kids?" And I said, "Yeah, no problem at all." So I went down and helped the kids. Then I went to St. Margaret's. A bloke named Bill Hay rang me and said, "Would you do some coaching over here for me?" And I said, "Yeah." And I started doing coaching. And before, I was getting the bug then. I was getting the bug to be a manager rather than a player. And I said, I'm going to have my boots up here. I don't need this. And I stopped playing really on a Saturday. I just played on a Sunday. But I was doing more coaching and going around and helping different other clubs. Yeah. And I really enjoyed it. And then Whitstable Town rang me and said, would I take the reserves on? That was, I think it was about 81, 82. And, Pete Merritt was running the reserves and Bill Craig was still then manager of the first team. And Pete was made up to go and help Bill in the first team. So I took on the reserves and I really enjoyed it. And there were some really good local young lads in that side. And And then, you know, it was a pleasure to bring them through.
Yeah.
And it was good. And you had your ups and downs, which you do, because with local lads, you get the dads. And the dads are hanging over the fence shouting at you and goodness knows what. But that was part of being a manager. You know what I mean? We took it all, and I loved it. It was good banter. I loved it, yeah.
Good banter. Any real highlights for you stick out?
What, in being a manager? Or...
Yeah, as a manager.
I just loved it. You know what I mean? I took the banter. I was known as a real hard neck person, you know what I mean, as a manager. I used to shout, I used to moan, and you know, I mean, I wanted 100% out of every player, and that's the way that I started at Whitstable in the reserves. And in 82, 83, Bill Craig resigned, and I was made up to manager then. I took on the first team then.
You must have been doing a good job in the reserves then.
I thought I did a good job in the reserves. I got, like I said, local young lads, and it was good. It was good. And the club was starting to go places. New chairman come in. Do you remember Peter Stevenson?
No, I don't.
And he was the new chairman, Peter Stevenson. That was back in, I don't know, 83, 84, something like that. And he made a lot of changes within the club. And the club really stopped paying players, you know what I mean? There was very little money around, and it was difficult times for the club. It was hard convincing players to stay at Whitstable and see the season through, you know what I mean? It was difficult. And I had I wouldn't say a fallout, a disagreement with the chairman, and there was bad whispers going on about my attitude towards money matters and things like that. I signed players on the understanding that they could get paid.
Yeah.
And if they didn't get paid, they were going to leave, and it was easy as that. But it wasn't vast money, you know what I mean? You're only talking maybe a tenner or 20 quid. You know what I mean? It was hard to convince a player of a better calibre to come and play for Whitstable Town for 20 quid. The likes of the places like Herne Bay, Faversham, Ramsgate, you know, I mean, they were paying 50s and 60s. You know, I mean, it was a difficult time. And I couldn't, like I say, I loved my job. I was working hard. And, I had a family, and I decided, I said, I don't really need this. And I walked away from football.
What, completely?
It was really hard. In 84, 85, I walked away and said, sorry, Whitstable Town, and I believe John Newman then come and took over then.
Yeah, John did have a little spell, that's true.
Yeah, and I left it, you know what I mean? I had to think about what I was doing. And then out of the blue in 85, 86, I took on Deal Town. And Deal Town rang me and said, Doug, we need you. Can you come over? And I loved it over Deal. It was really good. The people over there was good. But it was another site. It was another club that had been at the top. And then all of a sudden, the money was drying up and people didn't want to come and watch a bad side. And it was hard work with it. I mean, that's part of managing. You get the good ones and you get the bad. And unfortunately, with Deal, I had 2 seasons there, and you had to really work hard to keep players there.
It's very difficult, isn't it? I mean, I've heard you talking about your passion for Snowdown, and you weren't bothered if you got paid or not. But you're just such an unusual case. I mean, a lot of these players, they follow the money, don't they?
Yeah, I don't. Sorry, maybe I'm not saying this right, but I don't sign players who want money. I want players who's going to play for the club and the shirt that they're wearing.
Yeah.
And if you get that, you'll get 95% a better player, because he will give you everything on the park. Not because he's just picking up 50, 60 quid, 70 quid. Great, if you can afford it, pay him. You know what I mean? That's great. But local clubs, they couldn't afford to pay all that type of money. And it ruined the game. In the 80s, it ruined a lot of clubs, like the Whitstables, the Bays and the Favershams and the Deals and the Snowdowns. In the end, it caught up with them.
It did.
There was no, you know what I mean? And they all died away. If you look at the records, you look at them. They all died away until there was an influx again of money people. And then it started building again. After I left Deal, I took on the reserves at Dover with Chris Kinnear. That was an eye opener. That was.
I should imagine.
Chris Kinnear was there was no tactics, just knock the ball over the top, and then we'll all run after it. You know what I mean? But he got away with it. He got away with it. So many years at Dover and Margate, he got away with it.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Players, you know what I mean? I think Lenny Lee was one. You know, he could run 10 yards in so many seconds, and that's how he played his games at Dover. And it was a good couple of years that I run the reserves and done the training and that. I loved it. It was good. Yeah.
That was good fun. Yeah, he came down to Whitstable once with a side. I don't know if it was a friendly or in a cup, but he was a bit of a character, wasn't he? Yeah, very much so. After I finished with Dover, I went to Folkestone with Dennis Hunt. I don't know if you heard of Dennis Hunt. Gillingham, yes.
Charlton, good crow, Dennis Hunt. With Dennis for a couple of years at Folkestone, and it was very enjoyable football. We did the kids, and then we got promoted to the first team, and we ran the first team, me and Dennis. It was really good. And then Neil Cugley took over, and I think Neil's been there about 20-odd years now. I think he's the longest-serving manager in the league now.
He's the longest-serving manager in the UK, not only the league.
Is he?
Yeah.
I think it is. Yeah, good bloke. Yeah, Neil's done a good job down there.
Yeah, he's a good lad. I like Neil. He's a bit. When you first see him, he's a bit gruff because he's a big old lad. He looks like he'll take no prisoners. But if he's got time to talk, he'll stand and talk. If he hasn't got time, he's on his way. Right. He's on his way. But he's a nice lad.
And then, then football. Then I don't know. Would you say what's the name? Whitstable, as joint manager with Simon Kay. After I left Folkestone, I came back to Whitstable. Me and Simon took on the first team. I think it was who was the manager prior to me there.
Do you know? I don't know.
Oh, Crabby and what's his name?
Goddard. Yeah, right. Got it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they finished, and I was asked to come over and go to a meeting. I went, and Simon was there, and I said, Simon, shall we do it together? I said, you're the local lad. I've been around a little bit. Let's try and put it together. And we did, you know what I mean? It started off well, but unfortunately, it didn't finish well.
Oh, fair enough. Circumstances are circumstances, but you've certainly had some decent jobs in, haven't you, football-wise? Goodness me.
I loved every one of them.
That's lovely. Do you know what? Listening to you, with the exception of Ashford, Lee's almost followed you around the leagues, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Amazing. Was Whitstable your last managerial job then?
Yeah, that was the end. I hung my boots up, I hung my career up, I hung my manager's pencil up, and after 37 years, I said that's the day I finished. And I've never been involved with football again. And that was me finished. I think with Simon and myself, we're two different characters. I'm rough and ready, and Simon wouldn't say boo to a goose, you know what I mean? And
no,
I think that was the problem.
Yeah, he's a nice, gentle man, isn't he, Simon? Yeah. Nice guy.
Yeah, I've got great respect for him, and but I came from a background of rough and ready, and you know what I mean. You want to finger punch at me, but you'll get one back, and it was easy as that.
Yeah, I know.
And that's how I put my football career. I played hard and I've managed hard, but the years that I had at Whitstable were the best years of my life.
That's nice.
As a player and manager, you know what I mean.
To know.
And if I was old enough and good enough now, I'd go back there.
Well, I would describe your type of manager as firm but fair. And in the context that if they did what you asked them to do to the best of their ability, that you got the best out of them, and they got on with you. Is that about right?
You're right. Yeah. Even it's like Ali. He's been around. He could have done a lot better, but I always say this. When he was 15, 16, he was at Gravesend. The money that they were given was unbelievable.
Crazy.
And I always say to him, you give 100% and you'll go far. And he did. He's not let me down.
No, he's not. Well, Golden Boot winner. I mean, when I spoke to him the other week, we were chatting there, and I said to him, if you're the Golden Boot winner in a league as good as sometimes the Kent League has been, that marks you down as a pretty decent player.
Yeah, he was well respected at Whitstable. The crowd loved him. He was a bit of a showman sometimes, you know what I mean? He loved showing, stick one in the top corner and then do a swivel, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
He loved it.
I've seen him do that many times.
Yeah.
Oh, good lad.
And I think he took it off at Eric Cantona.
Lovely job, lovely. Well, I've got to say, Dougie, it's been a pleasure to chat to you today. It really has been. We're a bit time sensitive on these, so I'll need to wrap it up now. But Dougie Bosson, ex-player, ex-manager, ex-miner, still married.
I'm still going, and I love, I watch the game, but like I say, I don't think I'd ever get involved again.
No, fair enough.
Game and, it changed from when I played to when I managed, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And at least you can sit there, think, and you know yourself that you've been there and you've done it.
Yeah. I look at my scrapbook and I go, you know what I mean? Cool. Did I really jump that high?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
Not
good.
that one in the top corner.
That's good, isn't it?
And the proof is, yes, there's a picture of it.
Yeah, that's good. Well,
Tony, it's been a pleasure, and give all my regards to people at Whitstable who I know, you know what I mean? I've never mentioned there was a couple of players. Do you remember Dave Reynolds?
yes.
He was a gentleman. He helped build the
New
bar.
stand. Yeah, the bar, yeah.
Oh, he was a great bloke, Dave.
Dave's a good lad, isn't he?
Yeah, all them players, old people over there, they were good. But if
Well,
you ever see them, give them my regard.
They'll hear this when this goes out, don't worry, and you've just done it for me. I don't have to say it. So well said.
Thank you very much.
So from me here at Belmont Banter and Dougie Bosson, a true Whitstable legend on the other end of the phone, it's goodbye everyone, and join us again soon. Cheers.
Bye, Tony.
Cheers. Thank you, Dougie, very much indeed, mate.
Whitstable Town Football Club's main sponsor is Fibertech UK Limited. They are providers of optical fibre services to the telecoms industry, specialising in optical fibre provision, local and long haul. We offer a full turnkey solution to our clients throughout London and the south of England. Contact us through the website for more details.
Your host, Tony Rouse, every week on Belmont Banter for news about local football in Kent and beyond.
I do hope that you've enjoyed today's episode of Belmont Banter. Don't forget there's a new episode out every week which comes out on a Sunday night, early Monday morning. And you can leave your suggestions for a guest to invite at the end. And leave a like, and don't forget to pass it on to all your mates. Cheers!